Hello, everybody. I am Row2501, and I have a new game today. And you're gonna have to bear with me here. Not only is there a lot to go over, but the let's say condition of the game, and I don't mean like game preview. You'll find out what I mean in a moment. Is or can be somewhat dubious when it comes to gamers and its type. I was wandering through uh, the store menu the other day to see what was in game preview when I saw this game called Armored Warfare. It was in the free to play section, which means it doesn't cost anything to download and play. But like any free to play game, it has its ways of making money, and we'll get to that at the end of the video, because not that I'm trying to highlight one thing over another, but let's go over the game itself before going over, the company's right to make money, I guess you could say, however you want to put it. That being said, I wouldn't be making the video if I didn't, one, like the game, and two, think it was a good game. So as you can see, Armored Warfare is about armored vehicles and warfare. No. So it's a ground combat game with modern military vehicles. The factions aren't named U.S., China, and Russia, but they might as well be, and I'll show you why. There's the three factions. They all have their own vehicles. Most of these are U.S. or British, and these highlighted ones where I'm going are the ones that I picked up since I've been playing. My goal is these Abrams. Just a fantastic chunk of modern military machinery, which I'll get into when I actually get it. That being said, like I said, these are mostly like American and British type. The vehicles that are in the game itself are main battle tank, light tank, and armored fighting vehicle. And the difference is, main battle tank, usually really big gun, lots of armor, does most of the heavy lifting. Light battle tank is like a scout, runs around fast, usually can pack a punch type of thing, but it's a get in and get out type of thing. And the LAV ones are support and punch and run. This would be the Russian types, I guess. I don't know too much about Russian tanks other than some of the old World War II ones and the 80s Red Army kind of era tanks like Vietnam, Afghanistan, that type of thing. But that's what this area is. It's the Russian side. And then these, if you couldn't tell from the dude's picture, Chinese side. I know absolutely nothing about these tanks. But I've been blown up by several of them, so they appear to be good. And all the factions follow the same tree of light tank, main battle tank, armored fighting vehicle. It's just in the various forms, stats, weaponry, so on and so forth. We won't get too crazy into that stuff. But if you do end up getting the game, there's this nifty little breakdown of the tank itself when it was used and stuff like that. I thought it was super fascinating because if you haven't been able to tell, super into this stuff. And from what I can see, there are a ton of vehicles to choose from. Like, I only showed you up to Abrams, but it still carries on. And what they do is they've broken up the vehicles into tiers or classes or levels, however you want to call it. But they're specifically calling them tiers. And there's just a ton in each tier. Per class, or per type, I guess you could say. Genesis, however you want to put it. And then there's these here that are on sale, I guess. If you want a armored fighting vehicle for a cheap price, well then here's your bargain basement armored fighting vehicles. LAVs. And all the trees, like all the factions, they go the same way. I'm sure they'll add more as it goes along, and it might get crazy future or whatever, but well, one thing I do want to highlight is part of the free-to-play stuff. You know, these yellow ones where it says premium. These, as you can see, there's a little, currency number by them. If you have the game currency, you can buy one of these and, blow people away. The vehicle itself doesn't look any stronger than any other of the light tanks that I was looking at when I compared them to it. It's just, as you can see, at premium bonus, they just get money and experience quicker. It'll help them get stuff faster, but they still got to aim, move, so on and so forth. And these aren't permanent as far as I know. You see just where it says rent available. So yeah, you could still get them, but you're kind of just throwing money away in my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. This is just part of the free-to-play aspect that they have. And as far as I know, these things were real or prototypes, things of that nature. So from what I can tell, can't speak for the Russian or the Chinese ones, but most of these, or all of these that I've seen, are grounded in like real armored modern machinery. And these are just the ones that I, like I said, had to pick up as I progressed, because much like with any game of its ilk, you can't just go and buy the one you have the money for. You've got to buy in succession, which can get a little pricey, and we'll get to that in a bit. But beyond that, it gives you, every tank has to have a commander, loader, driver, all that kind of stuff. It's basically like a mini platoon or a mini squad. They just drive a big iron massive gun. And you level these guys like you would in any, RPG or anything like that. They get skills that help with, when people get downed, or armor, aiming faster, all kinds of stuff like that. And from what I can tell, each of the groupings or the different individuals, they come with the different set of skills available to them right away or later on. I've been working on this guy for like a week or two now, and commander skills, I've got those, which I'm getting used to them. The hey, keep playing the game motivation, I guess you could say, is much like in PUBG, how they have their daily challenges and whatnot. Same thing. Like World of Warcraft has dailies and quests, same difference. These crates you earn by doing whatever the assignment it says. And to take a slight turn towards the progression of the game, when you just play normally, you start out with a light tank, you can only do certain missions. It won't let you do super hard stuff with a vehicle that's not capable. That being said, to earn the necessary in-game currency to progress to the next one can take a bit depending on how you're doing it, so on and so forth. From what I could tell, having been playing, the easiest way to earn the currency you need to get tanks or to upgrade equipment and things like that are to complete these daily challenges and the stuff that comes out of them. One of those super beneficial things is the green currency thing that's up there under commanders. That's basically the money of the game. You can earn that by doing the various kinds of missions, but you get a good chunk of it from these crates. And they're not necessarily loot crates like in Battlefront 2 or anything like that. These you can't buy. you specifically earn them here. And typically what's in them are things that help you earn this currency faster. And I'll show you that in just a bit. But just as a note, if you're casually playing the game, or if you just want to play this for a little bit and earn the fastest way possible, it's completing these missions. Because inside the crates, one of the rewards that you'll get could possibly be another crate, which is really cool because I've never seen any game do that. So say you complete a challenge and you get 2 silver crates, the silver supply crate. When you open the second one, there might be a platinum supply crate lodged in the silver one. That's happened to me quite a few times, actually. It's super awesome when it does. So you have the potential to, double, triple, however many crates you get from whatever mission, which then again just helps you earn more. It's happened to me quite often where I've opened a crate and it have another 1 or 2 crates inside of it. And it's broken up into, as you can see, it's player versus player and player versus environment, or PvE, PvP. And I'll get to that in just a moment. It, of course, has the easy way to invite your friends to a game. And like I said, we'll come to this later. That's the company's way to make money section of the game. Next, we'll just briefly go over the upgrading a vehicle. When you first get it, you just have this column here, and that's it. And then you'll notice the relevant currency to unlock it, the next bit. All the tanks have these, and some of the trees, I'll show you in just a moment, go a lot further than others, but that's based on the vehicle itself. This is a light tank, so like I said earlier, they don't. They're not big boys. They run and punch, basically. So they have run and punch armaments and engines and things like that. And this stuff, because it's a light tank, it's fairly easy to earn. Just by doing even a few matches. When I first logged in, I ended up with a bunch of bonus stuff, for starting the game, and was able to just get all this stuff right away. And if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, it very detailed statistics of what your ammunition does, what your item does, so on and so forth. It's super in-depth. That's one of the highlights or the crowns of this game, is the depth at which you can upgrade something, or the depth at which it's even available. If you can see, like right where it was showing stats and available perks, it even tells you which is the next tank or item to get in that similar vein. And, like shortcut to getting it and upgrading it right there. So you don't have to trundle through a bunch of menus and things like that. So that's just that's the light tank that I started with. You can choose which section you want to go through. And I just, I'm American. So, no, I'm just kidding. I have an affinity for the American types of vehicles. So that's why I ended up choosing them. I believe this is one of the Russian light tanks. Another US one. Oh no, that's a Chinese one, sorry. And this particular tank, where it's main battle tank up at the top, this is the progression that I started towards getting the Abrams. And when you go to upgrade these, like I said, the armaments, the little tree went out a bit further. But some of its upgrades in other areas you could see were minimal, because it's the lower in his generation, so to speak. Earlier, when I showed you the list of commanders, and the commander is basically the guy you get most of your bonuses from in any one vehicle or another. You unlock them by using said currency to do so. I still need to do this guy. and you just use basically you just use the vehicle and dole out points where necessary. This is the current tier of tank that I'm using now, and its upgrade tree, as you can see, has more branches in the more areas, especially in the shoot things, in the shoot things line. It's got its bonuses and whatnot. And like I said, the detailed description of what you're buying or what you're upgrading to right there. And then, as you can see, shiny Abrams, very expensive. Unless you want to spend real money and make it a little faster, which, like I said, I'll get into. But it's totally, you're totally capable of doing so. And yeah, we'll cover that in a bit. The different tanks also have the different merits and stats, like faster, maybe a little less armor, better to shoot on the move, that kind of thing. As much as I've been using this tank, I've become fond of it. Kinda gets beat up quickly, but that's more my fault than anything else. But I've upgraded its armor, and you can see the little patches all over the place. I just bought this one because it does do a little more damage. It's more mobile. It can take a punch a little bit better, that kind of thing. So I bought it to diversify, so to speak, but also mainly to diversify in PvP, or the player versus player thing, which we'll get to right now. So earlier, when I said you can only do certain things with certain vehicles, so this is a light tank. If you choose to go into battle with it, it's grayed out all the stuff that's, that would basically destroy you in an instant. And it gives you the standard, what I like to refer to as normal mode. If you look at the mission select underneath it, it's got a timer. It rotates a set of maps. So if you don't want to play a certain one, there are certain ones that I don't like. You just wait for the timer to roll over. It'll go to the next one. Sad to say, sometimes it will just roll over to the same one again, which the company assures me they're working on in the Reddit. But no one's perfect. And then it's got a mini breakdown of what you're doing. You memorize those fairly quickly. And then because it's just a normal standard thing, no bonuses, no nothing, because it's just straight up, like I said, it's normal mode. They're not hard, but they're not easy, especially when you just first come into the game. Slight learning curve, not too bad. Light tank, same difference. It can only go to the one set of missions, or you can test drive the vehicle. But when we go over to the main battle tank, this, if you look under or just above its type, how it has the 2, this is a tier 2 tank. So it can still only do those missions. You just do them quicker because you have more armaments. You're a little bit better, more equipped to do them faster, basically. This is the next tier up, tier 3. Same thing. It just, something else that it does, as you use the different tiers of tanks, the rotation of missions changes. Like you might see a similar one, but you'll also notice there's 2 extra that weren't there before, and so on. Tier 4, same thing. This is where things change as far as missions goes. That's normal mode or standard, and challenging mode, I guess you could say, or what would be hard, normal, hard. Anyway, these missions I grossly underestimated when I first played them. They are no joke. The vehicles that are in them, They're comparable to your tier of tank that you're using, but they know what they're doing. AI does not take prisoners literally and will blow you up quite quickly, which was refreshing because I just thought it was going to be like a cakewalk. So that's another merit of the game itself. Well designed, or at least the AI is, they don't pull punches, which I found refreshing. Again, the middle section has the description of what you're doing, but the difference is mission challenging. There's bonuses for doing, playing hard mode. Something that I don't agree with is you have to pay a little bit of your in-game currency to do the mission, but we'll cover why soon. But yeah, you do get bonus. You get bonus money. You get bonus level up your tank stuff. Reputation experience, whatever they call it. And that varies depending on, if you victory or defeat, live or die, and how much stuff you blow up along the way. The tier 5, and this is where I've been the longest so far. I got to the tier 5 tank fairly quickly. And when you go to do battle, this is where it takes another change. Now, global operations or player versus player mode is open. And when you click this, it just, it takes you straight into 5 versus 5 on one of the various maps, which I'm honestly, I don't know if I've seen them all. I've seen 3 of them, and I liked all of them. I got killed all the time, but still cool to me. So basically what it's doing is, it's only allowing you to go where that vehicle is capable of putting up a fight. In the player versus player mode, the bottom rung of that ladder is tier 5. So basically, I had to buy all these preceding tanks before I got to the tier 5 tank to even do the player versus player stuff. It took a little bit of time to get there because, like I said, the rewards based on what you do, that type of thing. I got killed a lot, weren't completing side objectives, which I'll get to when we show a map, and I wasn't using certain items that boost rewards at the end of a match. So it took a bit, but hey, that's 1, live and learn, and 2, purpose of me making the video to make it slightly easier if you want to play the game. So the next tier, the tier 6, when I get the Abrams, or the first Abrams, will allow me to do this special operations mode. It's kind of, I guess, poorly designed, you could say, but the red lettering says you have to be tier 6 to do those operations. This random battle PvP, you have to have a tier 11 tank to do it. And that's 15 and a time. It's 15 people and a time limit. And then again, any testing vehicle. But something I've skipped over till now, over on the side where it says PvP challenges, it just lets you know you still need to do this much of this particular to get the crate you're after. And here's the ones for PvE. One of the things that I liked about the game is if you want to just come and do those crates and like play it as a casual thing and just build it up slowly, you can. If you want to sit here and grind it out like I have been, because I like blowing things up with a tank, you can do that as well. And there's things to help you along the way that don't involve using real cash. So that was a huge plus. A lot of these free types of games, that's where they kind of drop the ball, in that you can't do that, or you can, but it takes a ridiculous amount of time to do so. This game, fairly middle of the road in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you play the game, if you found different. But speaking of things to help you, earn rewards, which is part of we're going to cover their money making portion of the game, is this down here where it says active, active boosts. You get these boosts from the crates that you open doing those dailies. And what they have are basically just literal boosts. This gold one, I get more money and more XP per match while it's active. The ones that I've seen, they stay active for 12 hours or half a day. And the different symbols do different things. This one is just for the reputation. This one is just for the XP. And this one is both, but with a lesser bonus. Now, here's where the money-making part comes in. The global one is the one you get for free. And if you have the game's version of currency, you can spend 25 of SID currency to open this one for its 12-hour use. So you can double down if you've bought, the currency, or if you have one of the deluxe, super, supreme, mega editions of the game. Which does seem contradictory considering it is a free-to-play game, but we'll get to that. This right here, this active boost thing, this will be one of the biggest things to help you earn said currency to upgrade tanks and buy tanks fastest. And like I said, you get these through the crates in the dailies, so it's possible to quickly earn. That's what I was talking about. Yes, you can get these from the, having a one, and I'll show you in just a second. Actually, let's go to that now.